dice que todo se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda pa' gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile y baby, ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo pa' ti. Lo que tengo pa' ti. Sé que te va a encantar como meto yo.
What's going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to another season, of course, of the NFL. Crazy season that it is. It hasn't even started yet, 1 week away, but already drama, already trash talking. What can I say? Football is in the air, man. Also, what's in the air? Of course, Gametime, Bryan. Gametime. Actually, you're below. Hey, what's going on, Gametime? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Phil? How are you?
Like the Brady Bunch. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a story.
Yeah, exactly.
Of a real big dickhead. Oh, sorry, I can't say that.
So I got Isaac Ramirez. CZ is in there. Congratulations, CZ, on your on your winning over there on Gametime. Of course, Arturo Twiz, what's going on, Twiz? Mike Aldana just dropping in. Of course, he's working, so we appreciate you dropping in. Jojo, definitely blessings to you as well. I appreciate everything. Also, Jojo just winning stuff like that, like crazy over on your side as well, too, man.
Yeah, CZ won, gave it to Joe, so I don't care if. I was talking to Jojo. I was talking to Troy Daniels. If you want the CD, he'll take the DAC. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Just if you really want CD, then I'll give you CD. If not, I'll give you the DAC when I get it. So but anyway, yes. What's going on, Philly?
Not much, man. I have. It's been a heck of a week. I've been slowly putting this stuff together. I went with a, as you can tell, a paper collage type of background, which you'll see the theme of a couple of Cowboy players. I tried to get it as closely as I could to them. That AI do some interesting stuff there. So I don't know about you, man. I was watching college football today, so it gets me a little bit more excited about, the NFL season. There's always the upsets and stuff. JJ? And, of course, we missed the Bash in Berlin as well, so I need to go back and watch some of that.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the wrestling, honestly. I was kind of doing stuff. I put the light panels up behind me, and it's kind of interesting because the cameras don't pick it up great. I don't know if it's maybe the camera. If I swap out cameras, I can do it'll pick up better, but I have to have it really low for you to even see the difference in colors. But it is what it is. Something different, more of a streamlined look. Still have everything. I just kind of moved it around, got rid of some of the jerseys. But Bash at Berlin was okay. Okay, cool. Breaking news, everybody! An hour ago, posted on X. I don't know I don't know where you want to go, but
hey, do you think?
Wow, Ricky Pearsall was shot. What the hell happened, Ultra?
I heard a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, so I've heard different things as well too. I even heard things about Cowboy players as well. So it's hard to say exactly what's true. But hopefully that's just more of a rumor than anything. But that's not a good way to start your San Francisco campaign.
Okay, attempted robbery. I got you. Is he okay? Where was he shot? Is he out for a while?
Man, that is not what like it's. Yeah, see, I mean, that's a terrible day, man. He sees his Gators just get whooped up by Washington.
Ultra.
Get whooped up by the Hurricanes, and then that stuff happened. Man, that is not a good omen for the year.
Stable condition. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, man, so it's that bad, huh?
I was more talking about Cooper Beebe was named the starter an hour ago.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I also saw
Coach
that the
McCarthy
Chiefs
brought him in. Kind of an unreal experience. That's what Cooper says. So I'm happy for Cooper Beebe.
Yeah, I was seeing that the Chiefs center, which is definitely get a lot of praise when it comes to centers, saying that his breakout center that he was watching was Cooper Beebe, was on the top of his list. So I got to give him credit, man. When I was looking back at some of the videos that we were doing, we were talking about the draft. We hit a lot of those picks. I think it was crazy. Tyler Guians, We were trying to go center. We wanted to go center early, but man, to get a guy like Cooper Beebe in the third round,
Right.
and the guy's a difference maker. Let's be real. I mean, he hasn't done anything yet NFL career wise, but you can tell. I mean, you can just even the sense of his intelligence, the way he talks football. It doesn't know just see ball, go get ball kind of situation.
Right.
It's offense. I got ball, so I got to keep ball. So
See ball, keep ball.
But congratulations, Cooper, man. Heck yeah.
Well, looking at Cooper Beebe, again, where you see the difference, and I just hope it don't bite him early in the season with the snaps, because that's where he was struggling. He hadn't done it since high school. Was the shotgun snaps. You hope that the game doesn't speed up for him once the real bullets start. He gets so much push at the point of attack for a center, and just imagine he's only going to get better, at least for this year, right?
Yeah, I think
Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin on one side, and Tyler Smith on the other. That is about as comfortable as a pocket as you could possibly want. So I'm liking that.
I
mean, I saw from Shador. I will say that. Just looking at the comments
when I looked at
in the chat,
when we were talking about the offensive line, that's something that's definitely been brought up, especially with Cooks and Elliott back there, Deuce Vaughn. There's a lot of shade against the guys. They're by the time they're hitting their 30s and stuff like that, they're definitely getting the bad end of these conversations. So I'm interested to see if they can definitely prove it. I think this offensive line as much as, again, people want to give Tyron Smith, he was amazing, had an amazing career. It was just availability. Every year, every beginning of the offseason or beginning of the season, we were talking about we need to find a replacement. Not in the sense of replacing him totally altogether, but when he is out, between those 6 to 8 weeks. So what was the most? I mean, sometimes they were like 10 to 13 weeks that he'd be out. To have at least a guy that you can at least feel like you're going there. I'm with you, Brian, in the sense that you have to do some switching or shifting around if you really want to feel comfortable about the backup position, because I am not the hugest Waletzko fan. I don't like that they brought Josh Ball back on the practice squad. There's just a lot of ifs, ands, and buts about guys that have not shown us any kind of nuts. So let's be real.
Well, I like Waletzko's to be that swing tackle.
Wally. That's what they call it. That's what they call him, Wally. So.
Is that what they do? Well, let's go. Yeah. I like him, but I'm not sure where they're going. I haven't seen a real depth chart yet. I'll have to look it up. But I'm just happy that the rookie. I'm hoping he won the job. I can't, because you heard all the talking with the offensive line coach. He was really talking up Brock Hoffman early on, but I think there was a switch that was turned, and Brock didn't have the best of games against
backups.
Yeah, he did. He struggled. Actually, from what I'm
is it from the injury?
That's the
thing. Is it from the injury? Is there still like this lack of mobility there? Is what is it? Obviously, we all talk about it. We've all brought it up because we have a whole list of people that we can go down. Oh, Tony Pollard. How was he the next following year? How's he going to be this year? I think Tony Pollard's going to. I thought whether he was with us, whether he's with Tennessee, any of those situations, he's going to have a great year.
Tell him what he's won.
Yeah, exactly. He's won a whole year of being healthy, hopefully. But. Tony leaves, and we have a better offensive line. I think he was great for us when we didn't have that. We just didn't have that blocker, and I feel that we have two guys that can go out back there and block. You got the elusive guy. You got your guy Hunter Lemke in there in the backfield. Yeah, Rico Dowdle. There's a lot of talk about who's going to be the one that's going to carry the load, but I think it's just going to be one of those situational stuff. It's not going to be planned. It's just going to happen to be like, oh, I'm tired, and the other guy's like, oh, go ahead and go in, and he just happens to get more carries. Otherwise, it's a running back by committee, and it's not a bad one either. So it's not like there was one with a glaring $16 million contract that needs to be starting. This is a pretty equal field.
Yeah, I mean, again, anybody that looks at our team from the outside looking in, not a Cowboys fan, you're just going to automatically assume that we're going to struggle. So with certain positions, and I'm going to keep it real. I think the Eagles are going to struggle in the defensive side of the ball with, having to rely on Cooper Beebe and having to rely on Kenyon Mitchell and the Kobe Dean. Really, I know he's had a good camp or the back end of a camp, but a lot of teams have question marks. People act like the Cowboys are the only teams that have question marks. No, I don't really think that. I think that the Cowboys have a really good defense, and I think we got a better defensive coach. Again, I'm not here to tell you that Dan Quinn is. I'm not crapping on him.
We like Dan Quinn.
He's gone. He could, but again,
we had our issue by the end.
Boom.
Yeah, we had our issues.
Legion of Boom in Seattle. Let's be honest. I mean, they've been a good defense for a while. So he's a good coach.
Well, I mean, how many times were we sitting there going, "Man, this run is just tearing us apart," and it's just not. It seemed like there was nothing done, and we did adapt some stuff.
I don't know what to believe, Phil. Yeah. I don't know what to believe because we were crying for players last year, right? Mm-hmm. But now it seems like that the Joneses are giving Mike Zimmer everything he wants. Like we need a Linval Joseph, Carl Lawson.
Well, my whole thing
or not, they're throwing a lot of the bodies at the positions, which is all you could ask. That's like.
Well, Dan, if you really think about it, between the fat time that Dan Quinn was here, I want to say that Dan Quinn was able to acquire a lot more stuff for his side of the ball than Mike McCarthy was for the offense.
Draft-wise, but I'm talking...
Draft-wise, free agency-wise. I mean, think about all that. Dante Fowler, any of the moves, man. They were all defensive.
I know that, but I mean, last year when we needed...
Oh, yeah. You're just not the last year.
We needed a linebacker, and we're sticking Marquise Bell there. Did he ask for it? Why couldn't they pull off a trade? Why couldn't they pick somebody up from somebody's practice squad?
When I look at that linebacker situation, it's hard for me to believe that Dan Quinn was that when Bobby Wagner went so quickly there when he was in Washington. So I think he just did with what he could. I mean, Bell, as we saw, he's a baller. Again, he's in a position where. Is there any I don't know, man. It's just he put himself between a rock and a hard place. He balled out, and he just happened to be able to fill the role. Eventually at some point teams are going to start putting offensive linemen on the guy, and you're only going to do so much.
And again, I'm not trying to crap on DQ. I think it ran its course, and he's going to turn around Washington. I think their schedule's very tough. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think they're going to win 8 games. That's what they're going to win, but. Yeah, he cut Rashad Evans, Ultra. You're right about that.
Did he cut Jabril Cox? I didn't know he cut Jabril Cox, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the reason why Cox was gone from over here, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, and he wouldn't. I don't know that we reached out back. Sometimes you just. I don't see us getting Ridgeway right now. Maybe down the line.
Well, they got traded to the Saints. Ridgeway got traded to the Saints.
Yeah, he did. And Ultra Kelvin Joseph just got cut again. I don't think he's on a roster, and so did Nashawn Wright. So we gave him a lot. I was more talking about in free agency midseason. We knew that we needed a one tech, right? And we knew after Sam Williams, we needed a defensive end depth. Nobody's saying starter. Everybody's getting carried away. Oh, like relying. It's a depth piece. That's what good teams are supposed to do. I didn't see that happen last year. I was very annoyed at it.
Well, the fact
it would have helped, but it would have helped a little bit.
I think so. I mean, when you got a guy like Hankins leaving, and I hadn't seen anything. I thought with what we were talking about and all the bitching and moaning that I was doing, I thought maybe they were going to pick up one guy. The fact that they picked up 3 to 4 guys to really kind of test it out, and that they stuck with 2 of them, I'm very happy with that. And it's not like it's the bottom of the barrel, man. These guys are some pretty good players. And again, it's a rotational thing, man. Mozzie's not that guy that you're like, oh, he's going to be sitting in there every single snap. Oh, Osa's going to be sitting there every single snap. We all still need to see things from Osa. I love Osa, and I think he's a great defensive tackle, but we all seen his gas tank by the end of the season. So if you can get some other guys in there to rotate with him, I think you're just keeping him a little bit more fresh towards the end. And hopefully his conditioning has improved, right?
Yes, definitely. We're not going to know. That's the thing. Osa's on a contract year. I think that's a good thing. When you look at other teams who have guys on contract year, I think being in a contract is good. I do. Because normally you ball out. So, I'm good with it.
So I mean,
Joseph is. I agree with
that.
It's
definitely an upgrade.
Agree.
It's definitely an upgrade. Arturo asks, I have a question for the panel. How's it going to rotate the defensive tackles in certain situations? I think
the chat. You mean?
Well, the chat. Sorry.
I'm the only guy here.
Well, he says the panel. He says, "Hey, I have the question to the panel." That's what he says.
Okay.
So he's giving us an upgrade. He's just like, we're just not disc jockeys. I would think that you're obviously putting guys like Joseph in there when it's running situations, but he's done a great job as you watch this film being able to get pressure onto the quarterback. He's got grown man strength, and that's something that I think Mozzie has as well, but he just hasn't developed the NFL grown man strength. You see him pushing all that weight back in Michigan and doing all that. You know, he needs to kind of get back to there. I mean, we mentioned it before when we were seeing Nealon hit the pads, and then you saw Mozzie. It looks like they're playing two different sports. And Bryan brought up, well, you know, I think Nealon knew that the lights were on. Well, guess what? When the lights are on is where I really want them to shine, and I'm still seeing half-assedness from Mozzie.
Thanks, Chuck.
And so so I like a good rotation. If it was me, I'd probably put Linval and Osa as your main two. And then everybody else kind of rotating behind them. But, you know, Zimmer, I trust Zimmer more. I think I'm starting to feel like that defensive line rotation is kind of like the offensive line and me picking in the draft. They just happen to know it better than I do.
It seems to me, okay, and the panel, okay, Ultra, maybe he knows. I know, in my opinion, in Zimmer's defense, he doesn't require – Jerome Brown at the one technique. What he requires is your one technique to gain the line of scrimmage, okay? Not to give ground, to gain the line of scrimmage, to get some push and take a double team. That is it. Not get sacks, none of that. So,
but I've seen it. I mean, defense tackles.
I thought it was a home run. I'm watching a baseball game. And then, and then let the three technique eat, and that allows the three linebackers that we have to flow to the ball. And that's where I think I was trying to explain to Drew that we're going to be better on defense, and he just couldn't understand. And
that's like arguing with the wall, man. You can't do that.
But I mean, he's very. I understand on the surface, but he's smarter than that. I mean, listen. Do I know that this defense is going to pick up everything right away and not make mental mistakes? Because we saw that under Mike Nolan, right? Phil, remember they were making
too
all those
complicated
mental mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be too complicated because we're not asking a lot from the D tackles other than be beasts out there. Take on a double team if you're the one tech. I like the idea of playing Jordan Phillips next to, like Osa at times, and, or next to Linval. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work.
I like all combinations, though. If you really think about it, like at least I'm not like one. With these guys not being part of the roster, I mean, our third guy that we were trying to talk about rotating in there were guys that like Goldston and maybe Junior Fehoko is going to finally saw. We don't know. And the one time that we saw a little bit of glimpse of Fehoko, it was not pretty with how much he caved in and didn't keep up the side. Yeah, so, I mean, I think he still has a long ways to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And we say that a lot. We had other DNs in recent years do the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's why, remember we were at the draft this year and, in between bouts of frostbite, I was like, oh, my God, Marshawn Nealon is the highest rated guy that I have in the second rounds that was on the board as like picks were getting close.
Yeah.
And now that we look back, right, Sam Williams is hurt. It sucks for Sam. I'm not going to lie to you, though. His upside is ridiculous. But I was also worried about Sam. So now that he's out of the picture, right, and it sucks for Sam.
It does.
We're going to be relying on Marshawn Nealon, which is a good thing because he is just look at him. Look at his tape of him working out on the field, hitting the sled. My man is a beast when it comes to strength. We all knew he could stop the run, but I'm actually surprised that he's offering some pass rush.
I'm very interested to see the combination of Nealon, Law, and then Parsons in the middle somewhere rushing up.
You're not going to collapse with Nealon on one end, right? My dream scenario is to, is to have D-Law coming off one edge, Nealon coming off another, and having Micah lined up in the A gap. I mean, not necessarily coming, maybe not coming. You know what I mean? But
just at least to make them think about it.
Moving around.
Yeah,
they've never made it to one. Okay.
No, I definitely like the combination. One thing I wanted to shift to as we're talking about these, I wanted to bring onto this channel, of course, the CD Lamb contract. I know we've talked about it on yours. 4-year, and it's an extension, right? I mean, this is also counting the 5th year that he has now, or does this replace? I that's the only part that I'm a little. I'm not unsure if it just replaces, but I want to say it doesn't. It just extends it out.
Well, I'm going to tell you his contract. This year, CeeDee Lamb is making $8.75 million, or his cap number is 8.75. Okay, his guaranteed salary is $1,150,000. But remember, he got the 36 or 38 million lump sum
bonus. Yeah.
So that's the lottery right there. So that's this year. He's only counting 8.75. So they had to have done something with this year, Phil, because he was accounting for 17 mil. So we go to 2025, and CeeDee Lamb next
20
year,
something, right? 26.
His cap number next year is 35.4, and his guaranteed salary is 27.8. They didn't lowball it, and then oh my god, they actually went right up into a decent number, which I like.
I would have put more. Yeah, I would have put more on this year as well too, just because you have it there. It's not like what you're going to do with it unless you're trying to roll it over. This next 2 years are going to be tricky. I think that 3rd, 4th year is where the salary cap is going to explode.
High, but you got to remember they're going to roll over at least 15 million, right? And they have 60 million under the cap. So next year is high at 35.4 cap number.
Yeah, get it out. Get out of the way. That's
but in 2026, it drops down to 33.6.
Yeah,
they got zero guaranteed money. Yeah. So the guarantees are gone already by 2026. He would have had all of his guaranteed money. And then 2027, zero guarantee. It goes up to 36.6, nothing ridiculous. And then 2028, zero guarantee. So all the guarantees are gone soon. In 2028, his cap number is 16 million. That's it. And then he's the only guy on our cap as of right now in 2029. He has a $23 million cap hit in 2029, and then that's it. So we don't have, so in 5 years, that's basically it. It's not horrible. I like what we're doing. That's smart business. You know what his number is, and there's no $97 million. I went over Jalen Hurts' deal. It's crazy.
When I was looking at CDs, like before they even signed this thing, we were talking about, hey, if it's a difference $1 million, give it to him, man. Like I am watching this guy's film, and man, like his route running, what he picked up from Amari Cooper was incredible. Again, I've criticized some of the parts of his game, but when you really break it down, I mean, that guy's a playmaker, and even when people know that the ball was going to him, they were doing a great job trying to move him around, and he was still getting open. So, I mean, even with 3 guys coming up, definitely allowing other people to get open. So he draws coverage. He's just worth it in general with his presence on the field. I definitely love that leadership, the way, he has that playful side, but at the same time, he's going to give you a serious, he knows when to be serious and when to kind of joke around. I really kind of feel that. Most of those diva type of wide receivers, they don't tend to know when to click it on and off. That's why he doesn't tend to have that problem side in the sense, I'm not getting the ball. I'm not, I can understand if they're not getting the ball for a couple of things. And he said, hey, I can help out. That's just a leader stepping up, man. And they showed it after that San Fran game with him, Dak, Mike kind of getting together. And then that season kind of blew up. Brandon Cooks was on the same page as well, too. So I'm interested to see the depth behind him. He talks a lot about how his presence not being there during training camp, it kind of probably hurts the younger guys because he would love to have been there to show them how to work, how to, any of that stuff. But But hey, now we got that leader going forward. We don't really have to worry about that. It's just now the next part of it. But I want to also talk about, as we're talking about receivers, I want to bring in the tight ends, because the tight ends is a big conversation for this group because it looks different than it did last year. Of course, we got Jake Ferguson leading the way. Me and you very happy with Jake. But the depth behind him, let's talk a little bit about the depth behind him, because it's not the same. Hendershot goes to the Chiefs. Where there's a trade there, so I give them credit, at least a little bit of credit, for getting some kind of value out of a guy. Am I wrong, or didn't we undraft? It was an undrafted free agent, Hendershot.
Yes, he was undrafted.
So the fact that you got some kind of value, I mean, of course, guys like Eric Scott Jr. and they get released, and there's a waste of a draft pick. Again, I looked at those guys as Dan Quinn guys. So
think about it. Just looking at it, right? Fehoko was what, 5th round last year?
Yeah, 4th. I want to say 4th.
Yeah. So we cut Fehoko and Eric Scott, a 4th and a 5th rounder. So, and we got obviously Mozzie, Schoonmaker, and Overshown. So
now, do you think Schoonmaker
be a very good draft of Mozzie and Overshown and Schoon? I like Schoon. I think Schoonmaker, when he's healthy, you could tell how valuable he is. I know Ultra likes to say he played 17 games, but he never seemed to be really healthy last year. But he looked good in his last preseason game. So
yeah, he did.
I like that. There's no comparison. He gives you unbelievable blocking. He's a red zone threat, third down, move the sticks guy. He's perfect in a 12 personnel. If we would ever play a 12 personnel.
What's up, Mark Hudson? Good evening, Gametime and Primetime, the Time Brothers. Yes. Hey, what's going on, Mark? I am putting together I'm still trying to get that Streamlab going. I understand how it works. I get it going, but I was telling Bryan, as soon as I figured it out, I found all these new little gadgets for OBS. And speaking of a new gadget, let's see. Let's try this one right here. We're gonna go to the little circle dots there. What? Look at me.
Wow.
Look at me. Hey. So I figured during drafts or any of that stuff, we could put stuff and have a small little circle there.
Nice.
This is what I was sending you, where it gives you the glow. It gives you like a little mask that you can kind of change it. But I honestly appreciate it. It definitely helps me push stuff back into the channel, and trying to just make it just better, right? Of course, I got Gametime with the knowledge.
I'm over here, buddy.
You're in your little bubble. Speaking of little bubble, I as we're talking about this, the little bubble that I see is the ones that go a little bit below the one that you were just talking about, Jake Ferguson, is Stevens and Ford. To me, you got one guy that can catch, had an injury, so this is going to be that recovering year. We all know about that down year. But I'm a little bit more interested in Ford, because I did not see anything from him, whether it was
Ford.
Yes. And I didn't see anything. I mean, obviously in college they paid him a little bit more than the undrafted free agency, but is this more of I'm hopeful potential, or do you think they just saw things in camp that allowed them to feel good?
I think they made a couple miscalculations, with Julius Wood.
Thank you, Chris.
Julius
Woods. Oh my God.
I think they could have cut a good one and brought him right back. Nobody's going to claim him just to keep it, just to make it. But it is what it is. We'll see about Julius Wood, but I do think Brevin Spanford, they gave him $250,000 signing bonus. I believe that the value of a guy like that is 6'7" and has the athleticism that he does. He might have gotten picked up. So
yeah, I think so. I think he would have. Yeah,
I think we did the right thing. I know people are upset with Hendershot, but you can't keep them all. We got John Stevens, who's an absolute stud. Hendershot's had his chance.
Yeah. So and as we talked about with Stevens, he changed his number. He looks like he's number 8. What was it? No. He was 81, right? He's 81. Because last year he was 40. Who was he? What number? He was like some kind of weird number before he switched it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then you got some other people switching numbers, of course. We were talking, I pointed out,
yes.
Carson, of course, the walking seatbelt, the guy that's going to have to step up into Bland's number, the walking seatbelt. he goes ahead and brings his cocky level to another whole new level, and by taking the number 21.
I like it.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
21. They gave him. Phil sent me a text. I'm like, okay.
He's like, what am I looking at? I'm like, I think he's getting 21, man. I saw a picture of him in the 21, and it looks pretty good, man. It looks really good on him. Hopefully he can back it up, and definitely filling that number there.
I just want to say this, no team is going to go unscathed, right? I'd rather get this Bland injury out of the way. I think it's good that at least it happened now. It's never good to get hurt, so I'm not saying that. But it's good that I understand it's a tough part of our schedule. It's just like Guyton, we're all worried about Guyton going up against Myles Garrett. Give me the guy now. Don't tiptoe. Throw the best at him. I've always thought that you only get better going up against the best. Mm-hmm. You get your brains beat in against the best. You learn a lot faster than going up against somebody who's just as good or maybe not as good as you. Going up against these tough opponents, I'm happy with. And having Carson in the starting lineup, there's going to be growing pains. There will be. But it's awesome that this kid, especially when they drafted him, remember, we were sitting in the bar in Detroit, and we were talking about it, and we were hearing all the buzz about they had a 3rd-round grade on him, and just the excitement about getting this kid from Wake Forest, and now he's had a great camp, and now look at him. He's got 21. Just by happenstance, he's in the starting lineup. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to root for this kid. He's got such a great attitude. So I'm excited about Kalen Carson.
Yeah,
the walking seatbelt.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can bring up the picture here. So do your thing.
But yeah, so Carson assigned legendary jersey number. Yeah, 21, man. That's awesome. And I am seeing this story just real quick while Phil's doing that. Ricky Pearsall shot. Yep. Let me see.
So it was true, huh? Dang.
49ers rookie Ricky Pearsall reportedly has been shot during a robbery. Incident happened in San Francisco's Union Square. Wow. Pearsall was acquired by the 49ers via first round. Yeah, he was out of Florida. I really liked him. I do like him. Cites multiple sources in support. Oh, look at that. There you go. The human seatbelt.
Yeah, it looks pretty good on him. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's still an updated story. So let's just hope that this doesn't derail his season. I have a feeling that it might.
Yeah, I mean, a week away. I don't. Whether it's a little graze, I think you're going to have some kind of something. Man, that's terrible, man. This is society sometimes, It
is, man. It is.
I mean, that's your home boy. That's your guy. That's your season. They got Ayuk, right? They did the extension with Ayuk. Am I wrong?
It's the friggin' times that we live in. Let's just leave it at that. It's just the times that we live in, and it's ridiculous, people. It is absolutely ridiculous. Poker Face, welcome to the show. I like seeing new names. Poker Face, he was having a rough camp too, was he?
Oh man, that's terrible, man. Just to round it all out. I mean, that's not good.
Mark Hudson, we need another top receiver. They will double team CD. I don't believe the other receivers are 50-50 at best.
Man, Mark, man, you definitely give him a shot to the gut. Hey, but you're real, man. I totally get it. I like our talent, but you are correct. They have not shown anything. Tolbert, anytime that he really was catching those last year, he had a man draped on him. Brooks, I love Brooks. We talk about him being a possession receiver, but there's not a lot of separation there when there's he needs to kind of follow what CD's doing, but CD wasn't there to kind of teach him. So I question a little bit about that footwork as well. So Flournoy changing his number to 80. I loved Flournoy.
Yeah.
Changes from 18 to 80. I like it. A lot of people don't like it. They thought 18 was a really badass number. I think 80 is a receiver number, I like his footwork. I thought he is the guy that got separation when I was watching him play. But again,
18 over 80, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't. I especially since he already made a name for it right off the bat.
I don't mind 80. Tony Hill,
Alvin Harper.
Alvin Harper. So that's fine.
Yeah, Jake says.
Jack Meeker, what's
Jack
up, my
Meeker
friend?
says Flo wearing 80 makes you hopeful that he has history trajectory
There you
to
go.
be Robin to CD's Batman. Yeah.
Mark Hutchinson, he's leery of Deuce Vaughn, and he doesn't like our number 2 receivers. I think that that was a lot of the reason why, like when we were having our struggles. Well, let me put my light on. We were having our struggles with scoring last year through the first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It was horrendous, our offense, and they went and added more motion to the offense. They put CD in the slot, put him on the move. Because last year, I've been saying it over and over to a lot of the Eagle fans / trolls. Big Sills likes to run his mouth that CD is not an outside receiver. Well, again, when you're the only guy on the field.
Yeah, I can call chocolate vegetables, but that doesn't make shit means anything. It just
Right, but you know what I mean? Like, everybody knew, because Brandon Cooks got off to a real slow start. Him and Dak, it took a while to get on the same page. He was coming on towards the later. But, oh, by the way, who was the second best receiver on that offense? It was
Jake Ferguson?
Ferguson emerged last
Yeah.
year. And, so that's what's normally open. So, again, it was ingenious to do that. If they had a Devonta Smith on the other side, I think they would leave him out on the edge more. Again, Eagles should be moving the ball at will because of all the talent. We will find out, though, because if you don't move the ball with 2 number 1 receivers, arguably the top 3 running back in the league.
I've heard you say that a couple times. I think a lot of Devontae Smith. I think he's amazing. Is he a number 1?
Yeah.
Without a number 1 there, I can't put that.
I do. I think so.
No.
But again, I can't prove it because
Again, I'm going to put it in the same thing with Ayuk. It's like, unless you go out there, do the interviews as number 1, talk your shit as number 1, line up against the number 1, and that's when I really kind of judge it. But if you're hiding behind AJ and Dallas Goedert and all that, again, he's an amazing receiver. I do not take that at all.
That's not a bad take.
Yeah.
Now you're saying number 1 is in top, like best in the league.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about it on an offense. On an offense.
And out of 32 teams, he's a top 30. He's
okay. Now that's a little different. I'm talking about. Hey, he goes to Jacksonville. He lines up as that number 1 receiver. He talks to
himself. Top 10 receiver.
Yeah, but that's again. I'm talking about number 1 receiver on a team. I'm not talking about averaging it out kind of thing. That's.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but you know what it is. And again, it is what it is. But if I had to pick between him and AJ Brown long term, I would take Devontae. Just because of what kind of teammate he is.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Devontae Smith
doesn't get hurt.
Devontae Smith with Brandon Cooks.
Pounds.
Who you taking, Brandon Cooks or Smith? I'm taking Smith, like in an instant.
Smith.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
So that to me, he's a way better receiver.
So that's why I'm saying I don't know if he's a dynamic one, but I'll take him and I'll build around him. AJ, you had to give him more money as soon as they signed Devontae, who took less, by the way. So, again, I don't want to make this a long soliloquy about the Eagles. I'm just saying I do like Devontae Smith, and it's easier. You may not get as many balls, but it's easier to get open when you have a Devontae Smith on the other side of you.
Yeah.
Right? And you have a Dallas Goedert in the slide, and you have a number 1 offensive line, or top 3, top 5 this year, they're saying.
But when I watched AJ Brown play, I mean, to me, he earned those catches. I mean, he was like down the sidelines, and he was doing some crazy
He's a
shit.
Great receiver. I'm not to say that, but he brings everything along with it.
With that
he
number
brings
1,
things to the table that you don't necessarily need, in my opinion. I know people, that's what makes him great. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's can be a detriment at times. Now he got his money, so he's going to be a true soldier. But
I'm just interested. I'm just interested to see how it is when he goes in later and stuff. But again, they're gonna have a great offense. I think the defense is obviously what we're questioning. New York, I've seen some of that stuff.
New York.
I saw your little prediction stuff. I got to give you credit.
Trying to get me to do all of them. I'll have my Eagle win tomorrow. I think I got to do it. We'll see.
Yeah, pushing
And then
it
I'll do
from
my
that side.
Dallas one, sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want to poke too much into ours until you do yours
Yeah.
as well. So maybe we'll go on the next weekend, talk a little bit
next
more about
week.
the schedule
Yeah.
as well as you've
We
done
go
yours.
into the mailbox next week, baby.
Oh, damn! I forgot all about that.
You're like, oh shit.
The mailbox. That's right. And he's doing the opposite now. He's instead of sticking stuff in the mailbox, he's taking it out. So it's just nice. Yeah, a little bit of role reversal for you.
Yeah.
So as we go, I want to continue down, especially with what we've done and what we settled on. Going away from the offense because. We could talk the offensive line, but I think that's what we kind of started on. We're excited about a lot of those young guys getting chances. Zach Martin, you talked about on one of your videos about this possibly being Zach Martin's last year, which I think a lot of it is weaning towards that. It sucks to hear that, but I hope not as well. I mean, I hope he definitely gets that considered. Go ahead.
If he retires, we owe him a $10.6 million next year.
The dead money's
and $17 million the following year. So, wait. No, if he retires, I don't know what happens. Yeah,
it changes.
If he retires, we owe him $26.4 million next year, and 17 the following, and then 6. I mean, we owe him a lot of money.
Is that the extension? Those are the ones where they kept kicking the can down the road.
Works, yeah. But yeah, that's the dead money. So you hope that they can come up with something sensible to keep him, because to have Zach Martin, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Smith for like the next 3 years would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's what that's how you win. Just like on defense, that's how you win, building inside out. What the Deuce Vaughn done other than one preseason game against the second and third stringers? Primetime, Mark Hudson.
He has not gotten the opportunity in my eyes.
That's his buddy.
Is it,
Mark? He breaks bread with him in South Florida. So
yeah, to me, he just hasn't. I mean, he was a number one option in that offense in college, and look what he did. I mean, I'm not saying college is the same level of pros, but anytime he's had a chance in this league, let's be real, the offensive line has not held up. Biotis was getting pushed into him before he even got the ball. So I would like to at least see him get a fair chance. Now, if he goes this year, averages between 5 to 8 touches a game and doesn't do anything, then Mark, you are definitely correct, and this guy should move on. But I just don't think he's had that chance.
He brings up a good point, though, because if you think about it,
it's like, Turpin. What has Turpin done? If you want to put that same thing, other than a preseason game, what has he done?
Well, that's what I was going to. I think we might have one of the only running back rooms in the league where none of the running backs actually play special teams. Now, Deuce was actually one that he might get some kickoff responsibilities.
He worries me a little bit.
But you figure Zeke doesn't play special teams, right? You figure Dalvin Cook never played a special team. Rico Dowdle, no. And Deuce Vaughn, he's going to be a returner at best. So out of those 4 guys, we're getting 0 special teams. So that's why you see them, like the body type has changed a bit when it goes to the special team with the bigger, more athletic linebackers playing special teams, tight ends, stuff like that. So, Deuce has the most elusiveness on the team, ain't even close. I like Deuce Vaughn, but we need to see. There's no excuse this year.
He's right. I mean, Mark is right. There's nothing. And if he was to walk away today, he hasn't done anything. I totally get that. Again, I just want to see it against some NFL people because, until he gets the opportunity to be that dude, you're not going to be able to give you very much film. I mean, I love the fact that linebackers hit him and he doesn't tend to go down right away. Zeke, he doesn't have that bust. The last time he played here, obviously we didn't have an offensive line that was opening it up for him. So by the time he was getting hit that first time, it was really stopping his momentum, and he wasn't shifting. Dalvin Cook, what I've seen on his videos, and film in general, is that he had an offensive line last year that everybody knew what they were going to do. It wasn't like they were going in there going, oh, man, Wilson's going to throw it. We better get ready. No, man, they were stacking the box against him, and I thought he did very well, read holes very well. Again, it's just a very small pool there with the Jets. It's just I can't go very far. I did see him talk about Zimmer. You saw him talking about reuniting with Zimmer and the love that they have there. But I want to go away from the offense and go to the defensive side because I think they definitely deserve their own segment in the sense we were talking about defensive tackles. Well, let's talk about those defensive ends. We were talking about Nealon. Let's talk about Law. Law going in there. Has Law slowed down in your eyes?
You mean Lawrence?
Yeah.
D-Law? Yeah, no. I think he's the best all-around edge rusher we have. I mean, he's just so consistently holds the edge. He's really good against the run. That's why I said, man, having him and Nealon on opposite sides, even though Nealon's a rookie, man, good luck running the ball. I'll be surprised if we give up a lot running the ball. I mean, obviously there are certain teams like the Eagles who are unbelievable up on the line of scrimmage, so it'll be a good challenge. But I think this is as good of ends, assuming Nealon is who we think he is and what he's shown in preseason and practice. Sometimes you could just tell, right? Like last year, we didn't get to see Overshown, and I'm not going to that position, but I'm just using him as an excuse. You could, I mean, he was all over the field. So, and then he unfortunately had an ACL. So we knew where that was going. If he didn't get hurt, he was going to have 100 tackle this season. I mean, everybody could see it. So, again, we'll see. But I love our the ends. Lawson, another home run. Nice. I'm a little concerned about Lawson. Yeah, I'm surprised I mean, he's a little rusty, but he's on the practice squad right now. So you got my guy, Osa Odigizua. I mean, not Osa, Golston. He's finally playing his spot that he should have been. Yeah, it seemed like Dan Quinn had everybody out of position. He was trying to fit more squares into round holes. Pause.
Yeah, it's true though. Golston, I think, is a great example. I mean, you got an edge rusher. Oh, let's go ahead and throw all this weight on you, something that you're not, and stick you up into the middle. And you never really saw anything transition in that game. And I like him going back into the outside. I think that guy could be your secret little something that pops up.
He's a big-bodied guy, long arms. I just like him.
I'm a little worried about him and his assignments just because he hasn't had a lot of play over there, which he should have. And so, maybe missing an edge, like a holding an edge type of thing. Something that we saw from Fehoko, where he just kind of dives all the way in and then you realize he has to run all the way back out. So I do worry about him, but he has been in the league long enough to at least have the body of work behind him and at least have seen this type of stuff to where he's going to be able to counter it. So I'm definitely excited about the defensive line. I feel better about, our defensive tackles going into the season. Our linebackers. Let's talk about our linebackers because this group, to me, definitely gets me excited. We got linebackers, Brian. We actually have some linebackers. I mean, some guys that maybe need to put some stuff in the weight room or anything, but you see two of these guys already shooting out of the cannon in the sense of Overshown and man, I always stumble on the name.
What's that?
Our linebacker from Notre Dame. I always tend to.
Oh yeah,
Leufau.
He's 32 years old. He's 32.
You talking about Law? Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
Well, until he declines, I mean, you can bring up age all you want. I mean, it doesn't bother
32 me. In April, at beginning of May.
I think we end up losing him, and he plays for another team before he ends up retiring. Let's be real. Unfortunately,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got his big money. Maybe he'll go year to year. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah. Maris Leofau is going to be our fourth guy. Dustin Bosley is correct. I don't know where you want to go with this. Are we talking? Like, can we just freelance on the linebackers?
Yeah. I want to talk about each one. I want to each give them their moment because
Maris Leofau, he's going to be that fourth guy. He's going to come in probably on passing downs. He's probably that guy, but they love what they see.
So to you, kind of a fill-in for Hendricks.
Enough about him, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I've seen some stuff in the way he talks. Very intelligent mind about football.
Yeah, that I'll agree. But I mean, as far as a player on the field,
Yeah,
he
we
wasn't
haven't-
his best linebacker on his own college team at Notre Dame. He wasn't a juggernaut. That don't mean nothing, people. Again, we get carried away with that. We overblow guys that are on Georgia because you're lined up next to great guys going up against, and then it elevates you.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't on that good a team. It is what it is. Zimmer saw traits in Leofau, and Zimmer is tickled pink. Zimmer doesn't come off like a guy who's going to kiss anybody's butt. If anybody knows anything about Mike Zimmer, he's not going to suck up to his draft picks just because they're his draft picks. He will yell at you. He will point you out. He will correct you. He keeps saying how smart this guy is, and they're tickled pink. Me and Phil were a little bit
disappointed
iffy about it.
Yeah, we were.
Because we wanted that running back.
I wanted the
we
running
could have
back.
got the running back. We knew we didn't have the fourth round pick, so we were like, okay,
Well, I mean, to me, I felt like you kind of could have traded back, maybe get another thing, and then pick him up. I felt like a lot of people were showing him fifth, sixth round. That doesn't mean anything about who he's going to develop in. We've all seen sixth, seventh round people develop into amazing things, but. When you look at the other linebackers, Damone Clark is definitely one of those guys that we have to talk about. Was able to come in, fill in roles. Wasn't obviously a Pro Bowl lever type of linebacker, but he definitely played higher in the sense of what linebackers were doing for us last year.
Yeah, well, Damone, and just getting to Dustin Bosley's comment, he's a development player. Who better to learn? Ultimately have the green dot than none other than Eric Kendricks. But we'll get to him in a minute. Damone Clark he's the guy that we drafted. He was a second-round talented guy that I believe we got in the fourth, I want to say.
Yes,
I think we got him in the fourth round because of the neck fusion that he got. And Dallas Cowboys medical staff, arguably one of the best in the league, found it at the combine. He wasn't aware of it. Really saved the poor kid, because if he would have went in without getting a neck fusion, it could have been issues for him.
Yeah, definitely.
But he ended up doing very well with the Wolf Hunter.
LVE.
Leighton Vander Esch. But he is not a guy that you want to have the green dot. When the Wolf Hunter went down, he was lost.
Yeah, he was.
He was kind of out of place, not knowing where to go. He's the guy. You point him in the right direction, and he knows where he's going. That's what. But he has really emerged. When you look at a guy like Damone Clark, he looks like, oh my God, look at that beast. He's a chiseled linebacker that you're like, wow, this dude is really put together. And he, like I said, his first year was a lot better than last year. He tailed off once Leighton was lost, ultimately, for his career. This is a perfect spot to be the Robin to Eric Kendricks' Batman. I love it. I love that. I mean, I'm telling you, again, Drew, this is where I go back to, I think we're going to be better. We are leaps and bounds better at the linebacker position, and we didn't even bring up the two best guys yet.
Yep. Before I bring up the two better guys, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Buddy Johnson. 'Cause to me, Buddy was one of those guys that I did not see him making this roster, but not because of him and his gameplay. I mean, we saw some times where he was busting into the passing lanes, and I'm like, come on, why did you make a play? That could have been an interception, but I'm all for it, man. Buddy Johnson, right. He's contributed to this team, and I think these are those ones that you got to trust what the coaching staff sees. I thought Vigil played very well, especially with special teams and everything. I thought maybe Harvey was going to get through there. No, they did not. They didn't let that whole star MVP type of situation fool them. They just went ahead and let them go out the door. Buddy Johnson does enough, even in the preseason when given those opportunities, to do a really good job. So I got to give him credit. Buddy Johnson, congratulations, man, on making this roster. Hopefully we see you making some plays when we least expect it. You know, those times where you just like, look at this guy balling all of a sudden, like a Wanye Thomas for me, man. The guy that I think when he's on the field, things just happen to happen, and he just, whether it's luck, whether it's skill, NFL history will not give a F about it, and you will be known as something. So as we move over from Buddy Johnson, these are the two guys I want to talk.
Yeah, real quick. Let me get my thing on Buddy. He's a local kid, not far down the street from where they practice. They're from Frisco. The Coppell, but I'm not positive. But he's not far. So it's good to see, and he really has deserved it. He has deserved it. He's going to play special teams. He's a great guy. They did the right thing with Buddy Johnson, so I'm happy with it.
Dude, Drew, everything you say, just repeat it to yourself. Repeat it to yourself, because how's the new players and the new defense? Boom. Exactly with yours, man. You can't turn around, say you're just going to be fine and stuff, and then turn around and question ours with age and everything. You got to kind of turn the mirror back on yourself, buddy. But I love you, Drew. Yeah, love you, Drew.
He's starting the gravy.
Oh, he does too. He has to.
Everybody press the thumbs up. It only takes a second. Thank Mark Hutchinson.
Thank you very much.
He's so.
He's such
a contributor to the show. I appreciate that.
I love it. I
really appreciate it.
So the two guys I want to bring Kendricks towards the end, but Overshone I want to talk about just because things are going to happen here in the next week for Overshone. A guy that obviously went to Texas and definitely was a Longhorns type of legend. And with what he was doing, Agent Zero, I thought that was an amazing number on him. I was hoping he was going to transition to the NFL. Rowdy. Stupid ass Rowdy. Yeah.
I'm tired.
So, anyways, yeah, he's got to stop the bullshit.
I would have changed Rowdy's number.
Yeah, put him in I don't know.
One.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Hold on. I think I got it. Hold on. I think I got it.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I like it. Bang.
But Overshone, man. Where's number 13? I was kind of hesitant about how he was going to be this year because he had the injury. Something that we saw him flashing. Is he going to be out of plays in some of them?
Agent Zero.
I think so too. But definitely played some really good snaps in the preseason game. What do you look at Overshone, and how do you see him contributing to this team this year?
Overshone is all over the field. He's all over the field. But hold up. Arturo, they should make Rowdy 00, change his friggin' number, and give Overshone 0. But anyway, again, he was on track last year to be a beast at the linebacker, and he was a skinnier version of what he is now. He put on about 10 pounds of muscle. I always say it, right, Phil, every year. Well, give this kid a year in the NFL. Wait, but it's true. He did nothing but put on muscle. Mm-hmm. And now you just hope that he can hold up. You hope that his ACL holds up because he is a motor guy. He's like a Sean Lee. I just hope he doesn't have the health issues that Sean Lee had in his career. Yeah. That's what he reminds me of, a guy who's all over the place. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go in my mind year one, because he hasn't played any real snaps.
That's correct.
So, again, that's where Drew would like to say it's question marks. I've seen enough in practice and in scrimmage games both years, before the injury last year and again this year, that this dude's a stud. So, again, you can't have it both ways, right? You can't say, oh, look, the Kobe Dean is a stud because he's the best linebacker on the team because of 2 weeks of training camp, and yet overlook a guy like Overshone, who has been a beast in preseason games, a tackling machine. He's going to be good, too.
Yeah.
So,
and there's going to be times. So, I saw on his college film, which is the only thing that you can really go by, is, man, he's great at tackling, occasionally over pursues in that sense that, just flings off because of how fast he's going. NFL players can help, facilitate that. But I'm hoping, and I seen that last year, this year, some very solid tackling. So I'm interested to see his future, and if he can read, you got to be able to read the offense. When they start tricking you and everything, the intelligence is going to come out. And so that's what I'm interested to watch with Overshone as we see him develop through this year. But let's talk about the teacher, a Zimmer guy, a guy that's going to help us with our defense. And let's be real, man. Help us with our linebacking core, because we need somebody in there that's going to be able to at least be a leader. May not be the same that he was, but again, is he better than what we had there? Yes. You need to replace a guy like LVE, of course, going out the door, unfortunately, with health issues that we talked about, in the sense of Sean Lee. Would have been an amazing Hall of Fame career, but unfortunately, injuries was one of those things that kind of just drilled him down. Kendricks had a chance to go to the 49ers, was about to, kind of verbally agreed, and then
he
realized
made the right move. I just don't like how we offered him less money. That was embarrassing. Well, there's no reason why.
I agree. And it has to.
Wow! Holy crap! Somebody's got to check out this catch by the Atlanta Braves center fielder. Oh, over the fence. Anyway, sorry.
No.
It's
good.
Wow, dude! He literally.
Let's see. I want to point out that when I
Wow.
see Eric Kendricks, I can't help but see the dude from Men in Black. You know, the one with the hair kind of to the side, like all crazy eyed. You know. And I instantly see that the guy that played Monk, right? They blow the head off and he grows back on. I instantly see that guy.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
last year, no, let me get to Eric Henry. Last year, everybody wants to say how old he is and laugh. He had 117 tackles last year for the Los Angeles Chargers. Dallas Cowboys, the highest number last year was, I think, in the 80s or high 70s.
Like Damone Clark?
I believe it was Damone, because Leighton got hurt.
Yeah.
And Leighton hadn't gotten that much. So, again, he's far and away the best linebacker. So, again, this is where we get into now. This is prior to the Bland injury, but when you talk about the unbelievable talent and explosiveness and playmaking in the secondary, then you're putting 3 studs with a rookie who they love, not counting Buddy Johnson. That's an unbelievable deep. And then you go out and address some of the issues in depth that we have. Because we did have Osa, who made the All-Pro, okay? And, you had Mozzie, I know is a question mark, but they were able to go out and get multiple bodies to throw at the position to make it work.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know if it's the answer, but at least you tried, right?
Exactly. You can't. There wasn't much else out there better. I love Phillips out of
Steratone and a Cowboy. I'm right there with you, man. I miss Crazy Ray. I do too.
Yeah, Crazy Ray. Shout out to him.
Shout out.
Lord.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's been passed away for a while now. Yeah. Crazy Ray. Wow.
He'd have to put up with this bull crap that we've been dealing with. But I love.
That's why we went downhill.
Yeah,
we
maybe.
Picked up Rowdy and got rid of fucking Crazy Ray. That's ridiculous.
But when we're looking at the linebacker cores, that's why you're seeing, of course, Bell into that secondary. That's why you're pushing it further back. And he was out of position on one of those plays. I think there was
2007 he died. Wow.
Yeah, and there was a pass, I think, over to Booth. Bell was out of position, just a position, again, that he needs to kind of relearn as he plays. So that's a little bit of the worriness. Of course, that's the depth. I love his tackling. I love when he comes downhill to help with the run stopping. So I'm interested to see that transition from that linebacker to the safety again, but let's transition as we go there. The safety room is going to look a little different now, not in the same of the personnel, because a lot of the personnel is back. But when we're talking about Hooker, who now we have another guy on the other side, which I have been just trying to get on this football field in a while, in Wanye Thomas, a guy that I think can definitely help with turnovers.
Yes,
we're
loaded at the safety spot,
and I love it.
And I'm not trying.
Why do you think Julius Woods goes out the door? I
know why. I mean, I don't want to come off like, oh my God, I'm just creaming all over our players, but let's just be honest. That our safety room is as deep as it's been as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and the worst one to me, which is still a really good one, is Mukwamu. Can also switch over to.
Well, they have.
He switches to 1-1. Yeah, but he does the 1-on-1
/
Yeah, safety. So it depends on who you talk to, right? I tend to think he's more of a safety, but man, he's shown some great cover skill.
But they have him as our fourth corner now. So that's all I'm saying.
And you got Donovan Wilson, I think, is another one that I just totally forget about. Wilson. Let's be real.
Wilson's like a linebacker.
And he's a linebacker,
he's a physical guy.
Yeah, and so you're going to see
Donovan Wilson
and Hooker.
You got Malik Hooker as the safety. You got Marquise Bell, who's learning all that, but he's still an unbelievable we leaned on him so much that he has a wealth of knowledge, and you think you could trust him at times. He didn't look good in the preseason game, but that's because he was up in the box a lot last year. You're going to get beat, but Wanye Thomas, right?
Yeah,
it just goes on and on back there. Again, when you look at other teams who have one guy, and then you're hoping upon hope that your rookie is going to help you out. I don't know who I could be talking about, but, us, we got 4 or 5 guys who we'd be okay with.
Yeah, I would be very happy with any of those guys starting. And I say starting. What is really starting? Oh, you got it in there in the first play of the first drive. Congratulations, you're a starter. Because it's just the way that this defense.
You're a starter.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's just like paper, rock, scissors. Who's going to go out there first kind of situation? Because I do like the safety room. It's not the same as our corners. Our corners, you have your ones that are higher up. You got their ones that are questionable. But at least you like the depth there that, when people are rotating through, maybe possible injuries that you got to deal with, because we don't want to talk about it, but it is one of those, elephant in the room kind of situations where every team has to deal with injuries. And unfortunately, I do hate that. I hate that, our Bland goes down, Jerron Bland goes down. I mean, we poke fun at Eagles in the sense of Bradbury, but unfortunately, he goes out for as well 6 to 8 weeks. These are just stuff that I hate seeing in football. Again, I've talked about how I wish I could turn it off like Madden and just watch these guys play because they're amazing talents. I have more respect for corners than I do for wide receivers, and I was an offensive guy because to me, you're a guy that's backpedaling and you're going against a guy that can run maybe 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, just these guys, and they know where they're going, and you got to be able to switch on it. And so when people get beat one time and the people are like, oh, he's just trash, get your ass out there and see how you're going to play against an NFL wide receiver. So I'm interested to see.
He's still available, Clemente. What happened to Curse? He's still on the street. I think he fell off.
I thought I saw him interview for a thing, but I guess he never got picked up, right?
I don't believe he's signed anywhere.
And if I thought anywhere that was going to pick him up, it'd probably been Washington, really, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep, exactly.
I mean, he's probably going to be a guy that's going to come into an off defense later in the year when injuries start to happen or depth isn't there. So he's definitely going to get a call this year. I don't think his play was out of that.
Yes, Mekhi Becton is starting. Twiz, help me out. I believe that's the case.
That's
I think so.
That's
I think so. That was a good pickup. That was a good pickup. Now, again, he's had a career of being underwhelming, so we'll see when the bullets fly.
But once you you put him against some other people. Yeah, I tend to think the elevator, their play will elevate when you put an All-Pro on the sides of them. Again, the center position isn't the same.
Javon Curse,
but. The man still checked. I didn't believe it.
Javon Curse, not J.
Oh, you're talking about the big defensive end that would play for Tennessee and Florida.
Tennessee, then went to Philly.
Yeah. That guy is just a huge guy.
Yeah, I thought so too. Becton is just. I thought so. They had the injury to the other dude, the rookie that they wanted to give the job to. We'll see. Roids are a hell of a drug. It was funny, Chuck. I saw it popped up on my, I think it was Twitter or X. I'm sorry, I still call it Twitter, but it was, and then my father-in-law, he had some Sports Illustrated. He had all kinds of magazines. He passed away. We had to clear out the house, and I have all these vintage magazines out in my shed. What was the dude out of Tony Mandarich? Mandarich, remember him?
The full one.
He was all roided up, coming out of college,
fooling people.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, amazing, had Trent, no.
And then it's like somebody stuck a pin in him because he's
just deflated.
He's off. Yeah, he's all deflated. Tony Mandarich.
Yes, man, that it's interesting to see some of that. But let's talk about the corners. I kind of really want to get into it because obviously we lose a guy like Bland. We talked about, of course, Carson taking number 21. That's a big move for him.
Exactly.
Whether he'll back it up or not. I mean, I think you paint a little bit bigger of a target on yourself.
Yep.
So good luck with that. I love the cockiness to at least go in there. I want to talk a little bit about Jordan Lewis. That's a guy that's a little bit not talked to. I saw him on Twitter, definitely, talking about the media and how much shit that is just. I just hate you, mother. And I got to give him credit, man. That's stick up for your team, man. Stick up for your teammates. That's what I want to see. J. Lou.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's another guy that, to me, I liked his college film, what he's done. The last time he played for us, he made an interception right before he got out of that game. He got injured on that play, but still, he's a guy that all of a sudden makes plays when you least expect it.
That's why I liked Mike Sanistroll coming out of Michigan this year. He reminded me of J. Lou, but maybe just a little bit bigger. The same type of slot guy.
See, Clemente?
And J. Lou, he had that he had the foot injury, and it's bad, people. I can't think of it's slipping my tongue, but yeah, he had the Liz Frank. He had the Liz Frank injury. That's a devastating injury for a football player. That's literally, he was out a year. He wasn't the same, but he was getting to be the same about midway through the year, and you saw it pay dividends with key interceptions, one against the Eagles and I believe one against Detroit. If anybody gets a chance, watch the highlights of the Dallas. I mean, it is kind of funny though, Phil. I was watching on DallasCowboys.com. You can do it on YouTube. They have the 2023 highlight. They go right up to the Green Bay game, and then they roll credits. But you see a couple good plays by Jordan Lewis. It was very, very good.
Ronnie Coleman was going. Yes.
They were like, and then all of a sudden it's like it's over.
It's over.
Well, they didn't work out for the Cowboys in the playoffs, but it was still a good year. I was like, whoa.
So as we continue, we go into the depth. Of course, Eric Scott Jr. no longer part of this roster, gets pushed away. Good. Andrew Booth, the guy that we traded for,
I like him.
Flashes. I love his tackling. His coverage is still a little bit to be desired. He allows stuff. He blocks some stuff. So I mean, hey, for let's be real, fourth, fifth corner, that's all you really can hope for, is that he's going to at least be in the play, be able to tackle. He's not going to be all pro. If somehow he is, that'd be just amazing. But I just can't see that in his future. But I think a guy that's taking up a spot could be different with special teams. I don't know how special teams are really going to be this year, especially if we're kicking off like crazy. But CJ Goodwin obviously coming back into the roster as a corner. I think it's the same thing as Devin Hester as a wide receiver. I'm not going to put him out there as that position because, let's be real, he might as well just be known as tackler. He's not a corner. He's so I think I'm very sore about the whole Julius Woods. I think he's a difference maker. I would have rather had a guy like him on this team. Brian's brought up the fact that a good one, you could have dangled him out there. They've done it a couple of times throughout the years, and you would have still been able to grab him back. That to me is always going to be the one into the back of my mind, especially as I watch him play for Tennessee. I expect him to be making some plays. I mean, he was here. He was making interceptions. He was making plays here.
Right.
And I just that's going to be in the back of my mind. It's going to be like that Ridgeway whole thing.
Yeah, it is. But Ridgeway hasn't overwhelmed.
No.
It is what it is.
But he couldn't help.
Here's the deal. You can't keep everybody, all right? No. He's our 54th guy. He's not going to be a reason. That's us being greedy, right?
Yep,
I said
true.
the same
you
thing.
Are very correct.
I've been trying to cut C.J. Goodwin for years. I know how important special teams is. And when we lose guys, we forget that maybe they were a key contributor on special teams. But to me, it's Coach Fossil's job to find new guys to step into roles rather than keep 36-year-old sixth corners who's your best special teamer. That's ridiculous. You have some explosive receivers on this team that could slide into that Flournoy and
Brooks even has that.
Turpin. I would have rather have kept Julius Wood. You're right. But again, I think he would have been a practice squatter.
But to me,
he could be plucked off of there anytime.
But he could have been that. He could have been that sixth corner that they kept, and technically he's not corner, but
it's possible. Yes, I agree. But I mean, I hear you. As long as maybe his special teams weren't good. That's the only thing I could think of. Because I would be looking at, okay, I love CJ Goodwin. Listen, Bones Fossil, I get it. But again, you can't be giving up on these young talented guys. Julius Wood looked to be that guy. Mm-hmm. He looked to be that guy. When you looked at him, like, this guy looks good, and he's gone. So that pisses me off. So I agree with you.
So as we'll transition because of the team, I think one guy that we didn't bring up, and I'm a little curious about, and I'm going to go back down to the defensive ends because we didn't bring him up. Wheat. I think is this a guy? Tyrus Wheat. I don't give him enough any kind of segment. I'm not excited about the thing. I think this is the guy that easily could have. You know, if something happens here in the future,
on the practice squad. Yeah.
I'm not exactly excited about it, but we do need depth at the position. I just, with everybody that's kind of been let go, I think it feel like there could have been somebody else there. But we'll see how it goes in that sense. But I want to transition over to special teams because this is definitely something we started talking about just now with Goodwin and all that. You got a returner, of course, in Turpin, a possible returner, and a guy like Deuce Vaughn. Football's a little bit bigger than he is, but this is where this year we could see some benefits from this kickoff in the way that these guys are. I'm really hoping this Turpin's year, that he can really kind of show something.
If it ain't, well, here's the deal: they're using him a lot
wide
on the
receiver
receiver side, so he is going to be a lot. He's going to be involved, which is good. The dude reminds me, he's smaller, but he reminds me of Deshaun Jackson back in the day. Not as good a receiver as Deshaun Jackson, but just he don't get hurt. He's so elusive with the ball in his hands. He needs the ball in his hands. Yeah. So that's why, expect big things with the new rules, but we'll see. Again, we don't know. It's all hope and pray. Thanks, Michael Rizzo. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I always say that my channel is the Wish version of this channel. I think me and Phil really work well together. We just don't do enough. But
no, we don't.
We're getting there.
We are.
We're getting there, man. We're getting there. But yes, thank you, Michael. But regardless, I think I'm expecting to say Turpentine at least once this year. Turpentine. I'm expecting to see something this year.
Well, so, I'm gonna also, because I got to talk about the other guy on our special teams when we think about the two guys, is our kicker, man. The guy hits a 66-yard field goal during the preseason. You see it. You can see it easily possibly gone from 70. It's just, I worry a little bit about the stress in the leg of kicking that much in general. But man, that is a hell of a weapon, especially during halftime to try to get in there and try to squeeze a little bit more points out of there. But this is what the last year before next year he's going to be on a contract year, and we just saw that one of the top kickers get paid just now. So this is going to be another guy that we're going to have to worry about.
Interesting.
It's going to be something we're going to worry about.
My dad would say Drew is more like a collard greens and black eyed peas. My mother would probably say it's more like angel hair pasta and a little bit of homemade meatballs. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Jeff Lee, what's up, brother? Yeah.
What's up, Jeff Lee?
So what do you say? I'm sorry.
No. I was more. I got drawn. I don't even know what I was saying because I got drawn into yours and throw salt on peas and carrots.
That's one thing I will say. People always tell me, "Oh my God, you're like literally one of the best with the chat." So I like being able to actually talk directly. It's easy to do that when you have 30, 40, 50. When you get to 1,000 people in the chat, then,
I don't know what's going on.
We'll be looking at the chat all day. But right now, for a while, it's still manageable. We're going to get to it. When it blows up, good luck, people. Super chat so we can see what the hell you're saying. That's everybody gets mad at Mark, but they don't realize if you looked at a damn screen, it's just like boom.
Yeah, you can't really read it. Exactly.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Phil. What was Phil talking about?
Honestly, I don't even remember anymore, man. Like I would have to
Honestly,
rewind as well. Well, we're talking about the kicker. We're talking about the kicker. We're talking about his contract year after this year, doing some amazing things. Definitely a weapon for this team. That's going to be something they're going to kind of sign up next year as well too. But I definitely see some good things for his future.
Let's see what his number is. I'm going to look at the bottom. That's for sure.
No, and definitely as you're looking that up,
he's making $915,000 this year.
$915,000,
which is not bad. That's not bad. Next year, it's I think he's a free agent, right?
Your audio just went weird.
No. He's making $1 million next year, so he's under contract for $1 million. $1 million.
Next year? I thought he was up for this year. So, man, that's even.
And then
he may hold out.
He's free. Right. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, I mean,
we're still paying for Hoko 1.3 in 2 years.
which for Hoko? Which Simi?
Viliami.
Oh.
No, not Simi. So we got 2 more years. I'm hearing a little weirdness.
Yeah, maybe the internet and stuff. We're getting to that point anyways. So, Brian, man, I think this is a really good time to cut it anyways. I appreciate you coming on and let's talk. We're talking football. We're talking football again. Football's in the air.
It's
Whether
here,
we're
baby.
Yeah,
it's here. I got to get my schedule together.
You got to get your stuff together this week so we can talk about wins, loss next week and what we kind of see in the future, even in the first game. It's right around the corner, man. You're going to be going back to work on Friday, right?
What's the deal? What's going to be our schedule? Because we got to start talking about that.
I think we're going to have to talk about it then because it's I haven't even really honestly thought about it. It's just we always did right before, after.
How about this? How about this? How about Wednesday night we go on and we predict the Thursday and Friday games.
Okay.
And then so you come on, we'll do the channel member Zoom, or maybe what I'll do, we'll just tell them to shut up, or we'll bring him in 15 minutes in or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll talk about the Thursday night game, the Ravens at the Chiefs, and the Friday night game in Brazil, and then we'll do, assuming you're available, I assume you are, on Saturday. We'll do a show next Saturday with the full preview minus those 2 teams.
Yeah, no, I think at 8:00 there's actually is a game on that Saturday, so we'll see. I mean, as well, we
can go on at 7.
Yeah, so we'll see on that sense. Arturo, definitely prayers. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I didn't read, so I'll have to read back to find out if you talked. So if you definitely need some prayers, definitely prayers go out to you. Tony Montoya as well. Tommy.
We did Montoya. Is he in there?
No, I didn't see him, but if he watches back as well, we're definitely thinking. You may not be around, but we're definitely thinking about you guys. And so tomorrow we're going to be on your channel to do the draft, right? The fantasy draft.
2:00, we're going to be doing a draft. That's mainly why, because I'm so thankful that I did it, because Troy didn't really have his act together.
Gotta poke him a little bit. Go, Troy!
I'm so glad that we did that today, because he didn't have anything set. So we kind of got it set. We still got to talk about a couple things. Phil, it's a 14-team league now.
Yes, nice.
So it's going to be, we made it 18 rounds, and we might tweak the playoffs. I know Mouse will say, no, we could tweak it or whatever. So we'll figure that part out. But 95% of the legwork's done. You'll know your draft pick by 1:00 Eastern. So you'll know where you're drafting, and then we'll have fun. And then we'll lead into the Mark Holmes live stream. So
sounds good. All right, well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming through, talking football, talking trash. I know there's a lot of that inside the chat, so I appreciate you guys keeping it. We don't mind that as long as it doesn't get too out of hand. I know there was some little bit of name calling there, guys, but as long as you guys are walking away very well, let's keep it. We are still, once it goes past these football teams, man. We
are. I'm sorry.
We're trash talkers, and we're definitely can. There's some of us that can to get more wrapped up into it, but it definitely is all love.
Jojo, let me know if you really want the CD Bobble. It's yours. He did tell me that. But if you don't care, I'll send this one to him, and I'll give you the DAC one whenever I get it. So just let me know if you must have the CD. You have a good day and a half before it's going. So.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming through. We'll see you on Gametime channel tomorrow, and I appreciate you guys forgetting to do what? Man, I couldn't even get it out.
Ring that bell, everybody.
Let's do it a couple of times. There you go. Anyways, you guys take care.
Who are you?
Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil.
What kind of a stupid name is that?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And what is your name, sir?
Well, I told you my name, man.
Sir, what's your name?
It's my co-host, Gametime Bryan.
Cool name. Superpowers?
I haven't relaxed. I'm ready for a wild show.
What would you say you do here?
I don't know what it is yet, but it could be a lot of things. So we'll see.
This doesn't make any sense.
Nah, nothing makes sense here, man.
You thinking what I'm thinking, part?
Yeah, let's f***ing rage!
Yeah, okay, cool. I don't need the PBS special.
What the fuck is this piece of
The Can you say what the f*** did I do last night?